chapter of this Sri Ramana Gita, chapter 18. It is Siddha Mahimanu Kirtanam. Kirtanam, singing the glory of who? Siddha Mahimanu, Mahiman. Siddha Mahiman. So, Mahima is greatness. And whose greatness? Of Siddha Mahatmas, of the Siddhas. Who are Siddhas? Siddhas are those who are established in the self, but still, while abiding in the self, they continue to serve the world. Why do they serve the world? Why do you serve your husband? Why do you serve your child? Why do you serve your parents? Because you consider them your own, isn't it? Why don't you serve other people? Because you don't consider them your own. Simple. So who are Mahatmas, Siddhas? They consider the whole world to be their own, not other than the self. So from such a person, whoever you consider your own, meaning you consider them in your definition of I, automatically you start living a life of sacrifice for them. And here there is no them, there is only I. So it is a expressionless expression, it's a serviceless service, it's a sacrificeless sacrifice, it's a loveless love. It's a natural state. He cannot stop himself. He cannot stop himself. See? Such are the Siddhas, such are the what do you call, the great masters. And each one is different. We saw towards the end of the last class. Each one is different. One Amma came. There is one Amma from Andhra Pradesh, but living in Tamil Nadu. And she came here. It is for all purposes, it's a he, but it is a she. Meaning, he considers himself to be the mother. Because he has invoked the mother, he has become identified with the mother to such an extent that he walks, talks, behaves, wears a sari, and behaves like a girl only, a woman only. And someone came to know that they wanted Swami, he had come here. Did you meet them? No. You met? No, I don't think so. So they were in Clyde in those days. Clyde or Narevaren. So they called they didn't know me, that family also didn't know me. They said, Swamiji, our Swamiji has come, we want to invite you for Bhiksha, please come. So, I went there, and from word go, we clicked. And it was such a strange yet fulfilling yet experience sitting and talking to him. And he told him, he says, I never do this. But he told me his whole life story in front of me in those 2 hours after food. How it came up, how the mother manifested in him over the years. And from that point onwards, he calls himself Amma. And he has his own philosophy of whatever. He follows the scriptures, but he interpreted it in his own way. But that is beneficial to his devotees.
Well, Ramana Maharshi also did this because
what is that?
Ramana Maharshi, our
Ramakrishna Paramananda.
Oh, yeah.
He also could not distinguish himself from Mother Kali because he and the Mother Kali were one. See? So these are Siddhas. Now as long as the body is there, some work has to be done. Some are sitting in the cave in Himalayas. Tapon Maharaj, he never came down to the plains. Once he went to Uttarkashi and Gangotri. In summers he used to be in Gangotri, which is at 12,000 feet. Then in winters he used to come down to Uttarkashi, which is at 9,000 feet. But his entire life he never came below. Who is he? Chinmayananda's Guru, Gyan Guru, because he got Diksha from Shivananda. So that Tapon Maharaj, he is sitting there. He says, you don't feel like teaching? He says, whoever is qualified will come to me. The bees go to the flower. Flower doesn't go to the bee. You see? So why should I go anywhere? it was not that arrogance. He says, whoever is really in search of truth, I'm not far away. And the right students came to him, they gleaned the knowledge from him, and they went away. He never went away anywhere. He didn't want to teach anyone. Chinmayananda, totally different. He started an organization to serve the world. Satya Sai Baba built Prashanti, lived like a king, but nothing is his. He built so many projects, even the canal project which provides the water to Chennai. He built. They said, oh, it will take 10 years, 12 years to complete. With volunteers of Sai Sanstha, Sai organization. In 1 year, he completed the entire canal and maintained it for 4 years or 5 years, and then he just handed it over to the government. He said, now you run it. And it is possible. So there are many examples like this. This is just one or two I'm giving. Every Mahatma is there, he has some examples like this, because their life is like that. Their life is of sacrifice and service. Our sacrifice or service is wanting something in return. Siddhas, realized masters, do not want anything in return. They are not doing because of something. It is unstoppable. It is unstoppable. They are the true mothers. And one of them is our Ramana Maharishi, who has this infinite compassion and love towards all those who are coming to him. From absolute standpoint, yes, everything is he. But there is at a relative level, he doesn't say I'm doing anything to anyone, but people watch, people say, people observe, people note down. What we are reading today is what people have noted down. He has not done anything. It is only his speech. So here, on the glory of the Siddhas. See, really speaking, world we can never possess. It's so vast. This creation, it's so vast, relatively infinite. It's continuously expanding. How can you possess it? How can you come to know it? It's almost an impossibility, because whenever you reach the horizon keeps moving away. You can never reach the horizon, isn't it? Can you reach God? Can you reach God? See, then you will not be there. Huh? So God nobody has seen. We have imagined. He has presented to us when He wants. Just now someone told me that Baba came and said, go to the satsang, don't cook. Huh? So God also we don't know, because He is beyond our mind, beyond the comprehension of the mind. God or truth, whichever way you take it, reality. So that is also not within our grasp. The world we have been trying for last 20, 50, rest all of you are older than me. That pinched. That troubled a bit. So for so many years we have been running after the world. Have we been able to catch the world? Every time we think we have caught it, it slips away, isn't it? So world we cannot catch, God we cannot catch. Then whom can we catch? Siddha Mahatmas, who were born from a womb of a mother, who were in flesh and blood in front of us, or are in front of us, with whom we can interact, talk, touch, play, question, answer. World cannot give you the answer. God cannot give you the answer. Therefore, it requires special, special level of purity, sense of within, then maybe. But does it mean that we lose the plot and we stop and go into depression? Nahi yaar, possible nahi hai. No. Because for our mind, we want someone who is like us. We are a individual, we are a body, we are having senses, we are having a mind, we are waking, dreaming, sleeping, we are hungry, we go to defecate, we are our hairs grow, our nails grow, we get disease. God doesn't get anything of this. He doesn't need to clip his nails every week. He doesn't need to go to a haircut. No shaving required. No hunger, no thirst, no joys, no sorrows. And world is inert, so there is no question about all this. But when we see Mahatmas, they are going through all this what we are going through. But what is the difference between those Mahatmas, those Siddhas and us? Difference is we complain, they don't complain. Simple as that. They remain equanimous in and through the entire journey of their whatever is taking place. You understand? And when we see them, we get inspired. Hey, so when we see them, when we interact with them, just an iota of suspicion enters in our mind that maybe it is possible for us to realize the state that the Mahatma is in, because he is also like me. He also gets angry, he also is hungry, he is also sleeping, he also gets irritated, but he is not disturbed by any of those happenings. He is not disturbed by his mind. He is equanimous. In spite of all this, in spite of this body that he has like mine, he has overcome the senses and the mind. There just might be a possibility that I might be able to transcend the body, senses and the mind. This opportunity, this possibility, this self-confidence, we gain it by interaction with Mahatmas. This confidence we don't get through interacting with the world. We don't get this confidence by interacting with the God, because he is beyond our senses. But that God appears in our life as these Mahatmas. They are accessible. They are interactable. See? You can do all the drama in front of them. You can force feed them, or you can do natak in front of them, get scolded by them, or loved by them. Bhagwan doesn't do anything like that. So he seems a far away possibility. You know? But Mahatmas, they are right in front of us. Such are, therefore, more than scriptures you are studying, listening and doing the Shravanam is being done. And that must continue. But when you are on your own, instead of studying scriptures, read the biography of Mahatmas. Ramakrishna Paramahansa's biography is there, Ammachi's biography is there, Papa Ramdas biography is there, Swami Ram biography is there, Swami Ram Tirtha biography is there, Vivekananda's biography is there. And nowadays you don't even have to do that. You Google, you go to your YouTube, and there are so many storytellers of various Mahatmas. One Yogesh voice is there, one Krishnananda Swami is there, from Radha Krishna Swami is there from Vrindavan. 15-20 minutes in between for every day I was listening till I finished all his stories of all the Mahatmas. And who are those Mahatmas? All those Mahatmas that came into his life. Then our Akhandanandji's Mahatma's biography is there. Udiya Baba, Akhandanandji's Maharaj's teacher, Udiya Baba from Orissa. His biography is there. Kabir Das's biography is there. Anandamayi Ma's biography is there. Some are educated, some are uneducated, some were businessmen who have become saints, some were from the bottom of the society, they have become saints. Some were cobblers, some were tailors, some were something. No discrimination. You find the truth is non-discriminative. Truth is for all. It's question. All these Mahatmas, when you read their stories in their life histories, you see by some practice or the other, whatever their unique practice is, they have clicked into the consciousness permanently. Continuous, the wire is there. Nobody can switch it off. The light is on. And if it is possible in them, it is possible in us also. This confidence, this conviction comes into our life. And for that, here this 18th chapter on the glory of the Siddhas. Here the Siddha Mahatma is our Ramana Maharishi. And through his life and how such Mahatmas are only an ocean of compassion and love, continuously only giving, never wanting anything in return, bestowing their grace. And what is their grace? That may everyone who comes into contact with them or thinks of them or spends time with them or has satsang with them, go away knowing himself. That's all that is there. If one person does that, knows himself or herself, their life is done. All the sacrifice was worth it. At a relative level, ज्योत से ज्योत जलाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो, वो है ना? So the lamp has been handed over. That is the Guru Shishya Parampara. But he can't force it down a student's throat. He can't. No Guru can make another student realize. You may say, Swamiji, it's by your Guru's grace. No, you have to. You can say that. We also say that. Swamiji, it's all because yes, everything, every word that I am uttering right now, it's because of my teacher. If I say it is because of me, it's arrogance. It is because of his grace. It is because of his teaching. 2 years of living with him, studying with him, contemplating with him, serving him. Yes, everything. Slowly, slowly, our identity must melt, and the Guru, not as a form. And Guru, not just as a form, but as the principle, must reveal himself or take position within our heart and mind. And this is possible in this lifetime. Ramana Maharishi says, Jivan Mukti is possible with the body. You don't have to die in order to realize. Meaning, because after death nobody knows. You have to realize while in the body, not after the body. See? And that is Jivan Mukta Purusha. So some people you see, Avdhutas, they are in the body, but totally disidentified from the body. Nityanandji Maharaj was there, of Ganesh Puri, 7 foot, 6.5 feet tall. We will go to his ashram in Kasargod if we go to Karnataka, Kerala, just border of Karnataka. There is he spent, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years. In the hill, he, with his nail and one small piece of wood, he dug out so many caves for meditation in the face of the hill. And still there. You can sit and meditate there. Just close to Anand Ashram. You've been to Anand Ashram? Huh?
My mother had.
So just near the railway line, this hill is there. Okay? And he used to go around just with one langot and he is walking around. So disidentified with the body, where he has to pee and poo, he doesn't know. While walking only, he will do it. While walking only like a cow, while walking she keeps doing the गोबर को क्या बोलते हैं? Cow dung keeps falling. This Nityanand Baba used to walk and like cow dung it's falling down from his back. And people used to collect that because it was medicinal. It used to heal. It was fragrant. Out of our concept now, fragrant poo. Don't we take cow poo and make the walls? It's rare nowadays to see that. But it's so healthy, it's so fresh, and mosquito repellent, natural mosquito repellent. All germs die. Same was his case also. After the class you asked me that video. I don't know if it is in my phone. Another Mahatma, he's still living. He's in Gujarat. And you met, na? There were Babji Maharaj, I think. Remember at night you came and visited that Avdut. So he was called to meet another Mahatma who is continuously just sitting like this. If you push him, he will just fall down. If you make him straight, he will become straight. But he's just sitting like that. No, eye is not blinking only. And he just sits there on the floor only. He will do the poo, pee. There is one self-appointed worker. He takes care of him. So this master, Babji Maharaj, the one who came here, great master, the Lord of Siddhis, he went there. When he saw him, he took some oil, he massaged his hands and he massaged his legs, he massaged his head, he massaged his back, and just being in his company, khumari chad jati hai na, he got so, he took his clothes off and he wants to serve more. Because how can I am doing so much to him and he is not even batting an eyelid. I am doing so much massage and on one hand was his love for that Mahatma, but on the other hand, the deep abidance that young Mahatma, he is only 30, 35 years old, the deep abidance, and he is feeling, yaar, what is this abidance that I am doing so much, yet he is not disturbed, yet not even in recognition that I am there. How much deep he will be abiding. Then first he takes out his kurta, then he takes out his bunny, then he puts his lungi up. Massage chal raha hai. See? One Mahatma serving another Mahatma. Unknown. Just out of the blue he appeared there. He went there. Because someone called. So in this manner, with this little bit of introduction, let's get into the 18th chapter. Ashtadashodhyayah Siddha Mahimanu Kirtanam. Now let me get this tune right. Varaparashara Gotra Samudbhavam Varaparashara Gotra Samudbhavam Vasumati Sura Sanghaya Shaskaram Vasumati Sura Sanghaya Shaskaram Vimala Sundara Pandita Nandanam Vimala Sundara Pandita Nandanam Kamala Patra Vishala Vilochanam Kamala Patra Vishala Vilochanam. Together. Varaparashara Gotra Samudbhavam Vasumati Sura Sanghaya Shaskaram Vimala Sundara Pandita Nandanam Kamala Patra Vishala Vilochanam. The first verse says, Bhagwan Ramana, born in the great line of Parashara, the son of the immaculate Sundara Pandita, with lovely eyes wide as lotus petals, bringing renown to the earthly gods. You have some photograph. This is the latest photo. When he was elder. I should have brought one photograph of this. So here he says, now, so this chapter, 18th chapter, it is comprising, as I told before, of 26 verses. And these 26 verses are not written or not uttered by the Ramana Maharshi. The previous 17 chapters were uttered, the question answers and the verses were uttered by Ramana Maharshi. Questions were uttered by Ganpati Muni. But here, the glory of the Siddhas, these 26 verses are composition of Ganpati Muni himself in the praise of his Guru, and that is Sri Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. And in the first verse itself, our Ganpati Muni, he offers his salutations to the Ramana Maharshi's lineage, and his gotra is Parashara. You see, in our culture, in Sanatana Dharma or in the Hindu thought, gotra is by way of which you come to know whom you belong to. You are belonging to, what is your gotra? Kashyap. आपका शांडिल्य. आपका कश्यप. तुम्हारा जिसका अंगिरस. So all these names which are being taken, they are great rishis. Kashyap is a great rishi, Angiras is a great rishi, Shandilya is a great rishi, Bharadwaj is a great rishi, because Ganpati Muni is belonging to the Bharadwaja clan, lineage. This body is from the Atri rishi, because the father was from the Atri Gotra. See? Some of you? Anyone else?
Bharadwaja and Atreya.
किसकी तरफ से?
My parents Bharadwaja.
Always the gotra is taken of the father, always of the man, not of the woman. Always of the man.
My husband says Atreya.
Atreya. Oh, we are relatives then. This body is not. Mathula. आपका? हाँ? शिव गोत्र. कौशिक गोत्र. तो कौशिक ऋषि थे. हाँ? So in this manner, what you see here is those who are coming from the Indian subcontinent or are belonging to the subcontinent, we have, it's ingrained within our system. Now, present generation doesn't follow this. They think they are smarter. So we belong to a lineage, and that lineage is to a great realized rishi. Each one of these was a rishi. And those who do not fall into any category, they automatically belong to the Kashyap rishi. They automatically belong to the Kashyap rishi, because no human being on this planet can be born outside the rishi lineage. They were the forefathers. They were the starters of the creation. They were the ones who started the see how it happened. The creator, the mind born, all the rishis were mind born sons of the Brahmaji, the creator, and from him then the various generations have come. And today when we say we belong to this rishi, or this is our gotra, or that is our gotra, we are connecting to eternity. We are connecting. We are not a mistake in this creation. We are not just popped up from nowhere and going nowhere. No, we have come into this creation according to a very perfect plan, and we are belonging. Our lineage, gotra, determines what knowledge, what greatness. Because man is as great as his past is. He finds a great self-confidence in himself when he sees my father was so, my grandfather was so, my great-grandfather was so. So when I say I am Paramananda Saraswati, I feel, oh, I am belonging to the Sringeri Math, and our Guru, first Acharya was the Sureshwaracharya, and he was the direct disciple of Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya himself is Lord Shiva himself taking form as, and immediately, and yes, he also had his teachers, Govindapada, Gaudapada, etc. But, oi, the knowledge is coming from that source. Wow. Jnaneshwari, where is the knowledge coming from? Jnaneshwar Maharaj. And that Jnaneshwar Maharaj, who is in Sanjeevani Samadhi in Alandi even today, he is still in hibernation, alive. Alive means in Samadhi. 760 years later, he is still there, 40 feet below where the temple is. You have seen it. Still there. And when you feel that 12-year-old spoke such wonderfully on Bhagavad Gita, 12-year-old. That 19-20-year-old gave Amrit Anubhav. Wow! I am his devotee. You start belonging to that person. Same way, at the body level, at the mind level, either that way, or now Jnaneshwar Maharaj, where does he belong? He belongs to the Nath Sampradaya. Nath Sampradaya came from whom? It came from Lord Shiva again. Kashmiri Shaivism. Kashmiri Shaivism, the Tantra or the Nath Sampradaya, it was given by the Lord Shiva himself. So when we connect to our roots, when you all meet, especially all of you, why only specially? We are living in Australia, what are we always thinking about? PG. When we are living in Australia, what are we thinking about? वो भी क्या दिन थे जब हम दिल्ली में थे. We remember because that's where we were born. That's where we had our childhood. That's where we had our schooling. That's where we had our playmates. But when we go beyond all those superficial physical attachments, whom do we belong to really? We belong to these rishis. And that is indicated by your gotra. Ramana Maharshi was belonging to Parashar Gotra. Who is this Parashar Rishi? Parashar Rishi's son was Maharishi Ved Vyas, who compiled all the Vedas together, who wrote all the 18 Puranas, who wrote Mahabharata. To that lineage Ramana Maharshi is belonging. अभी सुन के मेरे बाल खड़े होते हैं. They just, when I say this body belongs to Atri is who? Today is Dattatreya Jayanti, the Lord with Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So when you say, feel that, when you know that you are belonging to that Rishi, his wife is one of the Pativratas, Anusuya. And to test her commitment to her husband, all the goddesses, Brahma's wife, Shiva, Vishnu's wife and Shiva's wife, they asked Narad Muni, who is the most devoted wife in this world? They thought he will tell three of them. He said, yeah, of course, it is Anusuya. They all became so jealous. Anusuya, who is she? We never heard that name. Oh, she's the wife of Atri. Atri's wife. More, what do you call? Pativrata. Devoted wife than us. More devoted than us. Oh, how can this be possible? Then, like every woman, she put the key into their husbands. They have a meeting. Husband, you have to find out for us that if she is better than us or not. So, how do you have to do? We'll tell you the plan. How to tell the plan? They went. The plan was they have to ask her for bhiksha, food, and with one condition. And the condition has to be, so they change their forms into sannyasi. They go in front of her, three of them, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, creator, maintainer, destroyer, which is nothing but the Ishvara himself. And they go in front of her, they say, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. She says, oh, my pleasure, what a day that you have come. He says, but we have a condition. you have to give us food naked. You have to give us food naked, without wearing any clothes, in your natural state. She says, she's thinking in her mind, I am a great pativrata because she has lived a life of sacrifice, loving, caring, sacrificing, doing everything for the husband. She is also herself a great saint. Anusuya is a great saint. Her husband is a great saint. But she is so committed that she has never made a mistake in her mind. She has never made a mistake, and therefore she is great. So she says, no person can say those words in front of me and remain alive. He or she will be turned into ashes. They cannot survive, because my sacrificial power is so much, my service to my husband is so much, that I am like a live wire. If you touch a live wire, what will happen? You get a shock.
Yes.
I am a live wire. If someone utters those words in front of me that I want bhiksha in your natural state, he cannot stay alive. But these three fellows are still alive. Nothing has happened to them. They are not normal human beings. She closed her eyes, found out that they were Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So she said, now what to do? But she is a great person. Solutions are always, creativity is at the fingertips. Immediately she opens her eyes, she says, yes, I can give you in my natural state, provided you, what is that? No, that provided you see to my request. And what is that? I have to make you into child, and then I'll give you the bhiksha of milk from my breasts, no problem. What can you argue? The gods could not argue. Before they could say yes or no, she converted them into babies. Immediately they were babies. She took one of them, suckled them the milk, and then the wives are looking, we lost our husbands also now. They lost their husbands also. Now what to do? Where is my husband? Where is my husband? What do I do? How will the creation go on? Creation cannot go with only matter, with only energy. You need the conscious principle also. So they are saying, where is our husband gone? They come looking for it, they can't find him. Then after some time, these three, because taking care of three kids is too much, running around. She's having tough time with one. So Anusuya says, it is very difficult to take three of you. Please, I am happy with one. So they all merge into each other and come as one-headed baby. So first it was three, then they became one-headed. And by the time the wives come, they said, please give our husband back. She said, I never took your husband. But then when they accept that she is the greatest, pativrata, devoted wife, not looking at the faults of the husband, but doing her duty, what is required to be done. We only get caught up into comparing and competing and all that. So life is what life has given you, keep doing that. So she says, I am not. So they say, no, these three are ours. Where did you hide the other two? So then, now Ishwar, the gods are infinite in their potentiality. So they leave one part of theirs as the Tatraya with her and return in their original form to their wives. From that moment, it has been accepted that Anusuya is the great one. Now, where this story came out, but coming from Atri Rishi's background, knowing this story, and how did I begin today's lecture? Remember, today is Datta Jayanti. Datta Jayanti is with Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all the three. You see the photographs, you will have three heads. How do you apply it in your daily life? You are independent of waker, dreamer, sleeper. Waker, dreamer, sleeper are the three heads that you are carrying with yourself every day. Where did this knowledge come from? From Dattatreya. Who is Dattatreya? Atri and Anusuya's child. Who are they? I belong to that lineage. Suddenly a great sense of fulfillment, a great sense of pride, a great sense of possibility that I am not left on the roadside. If I hold on to that, I think that Dattatreya can, that I should not make the lineage come to bad name because of me. Just like in family, the son thinks my parents must not get bad name because of my actions. So he behaves properly. See? So in this is the greatness of the lineage, the Gotra. Another important point about Gotra is not relevant here, but Gotra is no two people from the same Gotra should get married. This was a natural system in our Sanatana Dharma, in our Hindu culture, to make sure no deformed babies, underdeveloped babies come into existence. So children, so if it is Atri, he can get married to any other Gotra except Atri Gotra. If you are in Bharadwaj, you can get married to any other Gotra except Bharadwaj Gotra. If you are Kashyap, you can get married to any Gotra except Kashyap. It was a sure short way of cross-pollination.
The same Gotra they consider as brothers and sisters.
Same Gotra is considered as brothers and sisters, okay. But if that is happening within the same Gotra, then possibilities of underdeveloped children or with deformed children, you see that, especially you will see Parsi community in India lived within themselves. They all intermarried with each other, cousins marrying cousins, and so on. And that's why in that Parsi community, which was originally from Iran, and they are very well established in Bombay and Pune, in Maharashtra, and you find them maximum number of underdeveloped children. Why? Because they are marrying within themselves. The same genes are interacting with the same genes. Eventually, the quality of the genes is becoming, at a genetical level, it's becoming weaker and weaker. To make a gene strong, it needs to cross pollinate. And that was made sure by these Gotras. That's extra information which is not given here. Huh? So his Gotra was Parashara, coming down from the great Vedic Rishi Parashara. And as I told you, Ved Vyasji was the one who compiled all the Vedas and the Puranas and the Mahabharata and the various, and who had written all the mantras, brought all the mantras to sage Ved Vyasa. They were Vashishta, Vamadeva, Bharadwaja, Atri, Bhrigu, Gautama, Kashyapa, Angirasa, Parashara, and all of them came to, all of them were present at that time. These rishis are present even today. They will be present till the end of creation. You want to find Atri Rishi, you want to find Bharadwaj Rishi, you have to become qualified for their presence. Just because you wish, they will not come to you. Just like very popular belief, wherever you chant Ramayana, Hanumanji is listening. But whom does he present himself to? Only if where the satsang is happening from the heart. There he appears. See? Such is the grace of Hanuman. He is present till the end of creation. As long as Ram Nam is taken in this creation, till then Hanumanji is there. As long as this creation is there, that long these rishis will also be there. They are present. We don't have the eyes to see them. They are not. They may be present among us. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the eyes. You have the. But they are present. Parashar Rishi is the author of a Smriti text and father of Ved Vyasa who codified the Vedas. It seems in the fitness of things that the Maharishi who was born with an intuitive awareness of the glory of Arunachala should be born in this lineage, because Ved Vyasji intuitively, even though Ved Vyas was a son of a fisherwoman, and the father was Parashara Rishi, this Parashar, and Parashar Rishi was crossing Gangaji, and the boat's woman, she was standing, she says, and she said, I'll take you across. And she is rowing the boat, and Parashar Rishi is sitting in the boat. And at that moment, because these rishis knew the constellations and everything, he says, dear lady, this is the most auspicious moment which is never going to appear again for a long, long time, for a great soul to be born. Are you available? And divine conception took place there and then. She said yes, and immediately his energy encompassed her, and the child was conceived. And that child was Maharishi Vedyas, born of a Shudra girl and born of a Parashar Rishi. See? Similarly, just as great as the Parashar Rishi was, he was a great yogi by and realized sage by in his own right. Ved Vyasji was a great realized sage in his own right. In the same lineage, if Ramana Maharishi is being born, who was his father? Here it says his father was Sundaram Iyer. So his father's name was Sundaram Iyer, and he was a great person. It says he was a very generous person, and the entire community where he was staying put him on a pedestal. He had great respect and reverence from everyone, because he would do anything to help anyone in whatever manner was required. To such a person with such a big heart, which was abundant, not दक्षिणा देनी है तो $1 देके जाएंगे और उसमें भी आवाज करेंगे मैंने दिया है abundant heart. You see, service can happen only when the feeling of abundance is there. What do you feel abundant? If you feel you are abundant in wealth, you will give wealth. If you feel you are abundant in food, you will give food. If you feel abundant in time, you will give your time. If you are abundant in whatever profession you are in, and you say you can help someone, then you will help in that area, isn't it? So Sundaram Iyer, his father, was a person who was always available for everyone in whatever their need was. To such a father, Ramana Maharishi was born. Here, glory of Siddhas we are looking. We are seeing one particular Siddha, which is our Ramana Maharishi. But here in the first 1 or 2 verses, the lineage, that his father was equally highly esteemed person, respected by the society, pure of character. To such a person, Ramana Maharishi was born. See, very rare you will find a Prahlada being born to a Rakshasa. Very rare. See? But what a Rakshasa, Hiranyakashipu. What a Rakshasa, who's fighting Lord Narayana himself. भाई औकात वैसी होनी चाहिए, If you have to be that of that caliber. See? Ramana's father, Sundaram and is said to have brought fame to his lineage by being a knower of Brahman, by his unswerving self-abidance. Who? Ramana Maharishi. It is said in our scriptures that when a realized master comes into some family, a sannyasi comes into one's family and abides in his self, 3 generations before and 3 generations after are blessed. Why not more? Actually, all of them. But maximum we can come to know is our father, our grandfather, and our great grandfather sometimes. Who is beyond that? अरे क्या पता है कौन थे? थे कुछ थे. There is no photograph. There is no written records. Because the great grandfather, if he had told something, their story was there. It will be known by great grandfather. His story will be a little bit known by the grandfather. After that, it gets watered down. Story नहीं रहती. और कभी-कभी तो तुमने देखा होगा आजकल, if the children are getting married young, so within your life, in that child's lifetime, it knows the parents, it knows its grandparents, and the child has seen the great grandparents also. And if his life is 100 years, he will see grandchildren, he will see great grandchildren, and he will see great grandchildren also. It is possible. There are many families I have seen where 3 generations afterwards they are still there. See? But if this person realizes, it blesses the front and the back, the past and the future. Ramana Maharishi, born in this lineage, a self-realized master, for certainly he has blessed his entire lineage. He is worthy of the Parashar lineage. That is what is being told here. Verse 2. Arunashailagatashramavasinam Paramahamsamananjanamachyutam Karunaya dadatam vyavaharitam Satatamatmani sanstitamakshare Together Arunashailagatashramavasinam Paramahamsamananjanamachyutam Karunaya dadatam vyavaharitam Satatamatmani sanstitamakshare. Dweller in ashram on Arunachala, steadfast and stainless Paramahamsa, assuming activity out of compassion while ever established in the imperishable Brahman. This is a knack that you have to develop. Each one of us has to develop. Why? When I say you understand that I am included, I am talking to myself also. That we have to develop this knack. It's only a knack. Swimming is a knack, cycling is a knack. Computer is a knack for me. Because I'm still trying to catch it. Similarly, living 100% in this life with complete detachment, established in the Supreme Spirit or in the reality, and yet performing 110% joyfully is a knack. Everything sounds contradictory, but that's how it is. It's a knack. Just as a young girl becoming a mother, the knack to nurture, the ability to nurture the newly born child, nobody has taught her. It just appears out of her. It's a knack. It's natural. So how will this knack appear? How this ability will appear that we are yeah, kuch nahi. That we live in this world with full dispassion, with full inspiration, doing what is required to be done with a sense of dispassion, non-attachment, ever equanimous in nature. अब इसके बारे में सोचते रहो, how to bring this about? Automatically the mind will calm down. Where the mind calms down, automatically this knack will reveal itself. It's not something that you can develop, because everything is contradictory. Non-attachment and 100% involvement, inspiration while working in the world with dispassion. अरे ये कैसे होएगा? I know 100% inspiration when I desire something, when I want a result, but I am not wanting anything. Still I have to function 100% without wanting, without desiring a result. You have the answer. You do it in your life. You don't expect anything from your children. But from morning till night, till they don't leave home, you are working hard. Even if they are 20, 30, 40 or 50 years old, today also. Before I am leaving home, I said, Mom, okay, she was still drowsy from the medicine. In that drowsiness, she is saying, all the best, make sure you take your medicine. Have you had your breakfast or not? अभी तक लगी हो, नशे में भी यही सोच रही है. In that drowsiness also, she is only thinking about, it's a knack. She is so identified. Are we identified with the Supreme to that extent that it becomes natural for these three that I have told, or two, 100% involvement in the world with total detachment? This will happen. This is how masters live. This is how rishis live. Every master, if you read their biography, this will be the underlying theme. They are unattached to everything, yet their heart is abundant with love, and that makes them serve whatever, whoever is in front of them at that moment, without expecting anything in return, without demanding. And yet sometimes other people see they are demanding, but that is only to teach a lesson. They are scolding only to teach a lesson. They are loving only to teach a lesson. They are showing favoritism only to make the one who is not favorable to teach a lesson to that fellow. All that is their leela, it is the drama that they are doing. But within themselves, they are completely unhooked from everything. This knack we have to invoke. It's invocation. You cannot develop it. It's not a step-by-step development. It is not that you do this, you do that, then it will happen. You purify, you empty yourself, this knack will appear. But you empty yourself contemplating on the divine. Living example, Ramana Maharshi. And why every Mahatma, if you read Ramayana, one moment he is given the crown, he is declared the crown prince of the Ayodhya. Before the sun has risen, it has been announced that he has to go for 14 years into Vanvas. Vanvas, what do you call it, Vanvas? Exile. 14 years exile into the forest. Neither he was elated when he was being declared as the crown prince of Ayodhya, nor he got depressed when he is being sent away as for 14 years exile. Are we having that type of disposition? If our children call, no reaction. Children don't call, no reaction. But for their benefit, do the drama. For their benefit, you do the drama. But inside only you can know. Only you can know. So Mahatmas also do the same, but people outside, because they don't understand what abidance in the self is, what Leela is, they only see the actions, they see the performance there, see the body doing something, speech saying something, and they assess the Mahatma based on those happenings. They don't know what is inside. Inside is completely clean slate. Completely clean slate. Just like a mirror. Whatever comes in front of it, it reflects. But it does not retain any reflection. It reflects everything, but it does not retain any reflection on the surface, the mirror. Mahatmas are like that. They do not retain anything in this creation, but they reflect everything. क्लिक हो गया तो ठीक है. Verse 2 हो गया ना. हाँ. He is the steadfast, immaculate Paramahamsa dwelling in an ashrama on Arunachala. Though abiding always in the self, he assumes activity out of love. Hamsa Shiva Soham, Soham Hamsa Shiva, Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Hamsa, very general meaning here. Hamsa is the swan. Who is the swan? Swan is that who is able to discriminate between the milk, not real and unreal, water and milk. Yes, what you are saying is also correct. If you give water and milk mixed together to a swan, it will, it's a mythical understanding that it will drink only the milk. Means that which is nourishing, it will take that. So when we are presented what? The world and God, or the divine. What do we want? We want more grandchildren, more great-grandchildren, more memories. Click, 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 click. Yesterday I went to someone's convocation. They were living with us. No family here. We are only the family. So went for convocation. Swamiji, take photograph here. Swamiji, take photograph here. Swamiji, I am going to throw my cap, take photograph now. Swamiji, we both will do it now. Now all of us will do it. अरे यार मेरे 5 घंटे निकल गए यार मेरे. 5 hours. I said next time I will have to be careful. Now it has gone so deep, this experience. Next time I will be careful before committing. Huh? They want to collect memories. It's such an important occasion. We are also doing the same thing about our children, about our grandchildren, about our experiences. One person I know is writing there because they know death is not far away. Now what to do? स्टोरी लिखना हो गया, नॉवेल लिखना खत्म हो गया, पोइट्री भी खत्म हो गया, अब आत्मगाथा. Now write my own story. I was born in so and so date, and went to their house. They made me read it. मैंने कहा तुम्हारी नहीं. अच्छा स्वामी जी आप सुनो, मैं बोलती हूँ. बोलना शुरू किया. After 10 minutes I said stop. Why I want to listen to your story? My story is longer than yours. We always want to listen to our story and tell our story. Nobody has patience to listen someone else's story. Correct? If you have had an accident, my accident is more important than your accident. If you have a disease, my disease is more important than your disease. If your hair is getting white, my hair getting white is more important than your hair getting white. हर चीज में ईगो आ जाती है यार. मिजरी में भी आई एम मोर मिजरेबल देन यू. हाउ कैन यू से यू आर मिजरेबल? This is natural human behavior, isn't it? Competition. So when he says that when these verses of 20, were being written, Ramana Maharshi was residing in Skanda Ashram. How many of you have been to Arunachala? Oh, so many. You know where is Skanda Ashram? गए तो नहीं गए. Skanda Ashram, there is one ashram on the ground level, right? Then you climb the hill from the left hand side, you climb up the hill. Then comes the Skanda Ashram. Then if you go beyond Skanda Ashram, there is another cave, not ashram, this is Skanda Ashram is a cave. It's on a overhang rock, now they have built walls and everything, but if you go and sit inside, before you can even remember, you will go into meditation. Go there sometime and spend some time. Some people have told me, it's Swamiji too silent, it's scary. Because it's, even though people are there, the silence is so deep and solid that the moment you go in, even if you sit outside, you will be silent. But the moment you go into the cave, everything from your mind just drops. Or that will happen, two things happen. Either you will go into meditation or you will immediately run out. You can't handle that silence. But for that you have to walk half an hour up to the cave. Then if you go further up, there is another called Virupaksha cave. That Virupaksha cave also is equally powerful. There also our Ramana Maharshi used to stay. Then he came down to Skandashram, and that is where Ganpati Muni found Ramana Maharshi and then started taking care of him in question answering and everything. On the eastern slopes of the Arunachala, Hams is a mystified bird, mythical bird. A wise person is termed Paramhamsa, for like the Hamsa, which can separate the milk from water and drink it, he can discriminate between the real and unreal and abide in the real alone. Just like we must be able, if you have understood a little bit, you have to discriminate. You are the woman or you are the wife. What is real? Of course, woman is real. Then discard the wife. But I can't do. Every time husband comes, wife appears. Do the drama. Do the drama fully. Always knowing that you are the woman alone. This will be dispassion towards the wife with full performance without forgetting you are the woman. One example, applied to the consciousness also. Live in this world, performing 100%, giving zero value to the world, so total dispassion, ever abiding in there, ever attentive of being the self, being the conscious presence. In this manner, so in such people, this is who is discriminating? Someone who has taken himself to be an individual, someone who has considered himself to be a seeker, someone who is wanting to purify himself, someone who is in his mind. He alone will discriminate, no? Such people, such Mahatmas are Paramhamsas. Parahamsas, Hamsa we already told you who can discriminate. Parahamsa, after discrimination, he who is completely established in the truth. There is no falling down for him anymore. Such is a Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa, कौन सा नाम है? विवेकानंद is called Paramhamsa. Yogananda. Paramhamsa Yogananda. Paramhamsa Yogananda we have heard. There are many, I can't remember now. Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, sorry, yes. I am Vivekananda, but Ramakrishna Paramhamsa. He never came down from that level. From that abidance, not level, abidance. Being established, and this abidance, this, once you are discriminated, come to the real principle, that I am, then there is nothing else after that. That is your natural state, which is even right now. Which is even right now. And there is no fall from that natural state thereafter. Being established in the natural state, it was unnecessary for Ramana to be active at all. But Ramana, meaning Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, he's saying Ramana because he's elder to Ramana at that time. So he thinks he's like a child, guru, but younger to him. But Ramana was accessible all the time, clarifying the genuine doubts of seekers and guiding them in their inward journey. Why? The reason could only be his universal love. And what I gave the introduction to this chapter today, that Mahatmas, Siddhas are serving without compromise because of the abundant love that is emanating from their heart. And this abundant love is not a thought love. When the knowing is equal to being, meaning when existence is equal to consciousness, meaning when the intellect which wants to realize comes to realize with what it was seeking. And what it was seeking? The Paramatma, the Supreme Truth, the reality. And what is the nature of Supreme Reality? All that there is it's one without a second. There is no beginning and end to it. So everything is included, nothing is outside it. Once you have known that, once you have come to, everyone loves themselves than anyone else. But when you know, when you love yourself more than being the body, more than being the mind, more than being the intellect, but more than being the I, but being the self and self alone without a thought. From that moment onwards, there is only a fountain of love that is spreading out. When the flower has fully bloomed, then only fragrance. You try to pull it open, no fragrance. It has to naturally open up. Now that is a very limited example that it has bloomed. Bloomed will mean that there is a process which led to blooming. There is a process which led to blooming, but there is no process in this knowledge, because you are knowledge right here and now. When you become available to yourself as you are, when you become available to yourself as you are, love will start emanating. The fragrance of love will be available. And how does love express itself? Because we go and start smelling everyone. Is he realized fragrance? Realized fragrance? Realized fragrance? सब भागेंगे एक दूसरे से दूर. Then what is the fragrance of love?
Service.
Yes. Sacrifice, availability, no speciality. That is the expression of it. Commoner than the commonest. Yes, people will misunderstand, that's okay. But inside him, he knows. Because people are so manipulative in their mind, they think he is also like that. But because they don't understand the words, they don't understand the actions, they don't understand the intentions. But Mahatma has no intentions. He is just a mirror. And in his straightforwardness, in his playfulness, in his childishness, people may sometimes misunderstand, but as you come to closer, somewhere you cannot be untouched by the uncorrupted love, that innocent love that is emanating from him. It will touch and affect you in some way or the other. Some way or the other. Even if you are passing far away from a flower, you will feel get the fragrance, isn't it? When you come closer, then what happens? Hay fever. Achoo! Achoo! If you come too close to Mahatma, same thing will happen. You will get treatment left, right and center. दूर रहो, हाँ, nice fragrance. Next flower, nice fragrance. Next flower, nice fragrance. Come closer. Because the closer you come, you will see defects. You will not be subjective in your approach. Your attention is on the form. Your attention is on the personality. Your attention is not on the conscious principle. If you come with that intention of subjective realization, your attention is continuously on the conscious self, and to enhance, to get deeper into that conscious, to abide in that consciousness, in that natural state, you come in contact with the teacher or Mahatma and you spend some time with him, then it is beneficial. But if you are objective in approach and you come to him, you will burn. Why? Mirror. If you come with anger, you will get anger. If you come with jealousy, you will get jealousy. You come with manipulation, you get manipulation. You come with desire, you get desire. Whatever, because he is just a mirror. And then once you have burned 2-3 times, then you will start. People say many things about many Mahatmas, isn't it? It's only, but this is the principle. I am telling you the principle. But Mahatmas by nature are embodiment of love. Love not necessarily always expresses as hugging and smooching and caressing and no, it is our scriptures say love expresses for elders as respect and reverence, for our friends as friendliness, for our youngsters as forgiveness, and for criminals or bad elements of the society, indifference. This is how love expresses. Do that. Because all the time, apart from these four, is there anyone who comes into your contact? Someone is elder, someone is your friend, someone is younger to you, and sometimes you come across bad elements. There is no other fourth. This is how love expresses. So don't keep it simple. This is not my concoction, this is what the scripture says. Bhagavad Gita says this. हो गया